Steam Next Fest is drawing to a close. Some demos will be taken offline as soon as next week. Some developers may give up and will never see an update to their demo again. Most, however, will continue on and will release the games that I've experienced this week, hopefully to very positive reviews on Steam. That's all we can hope for. There is, however, no doubt in my mind that the game we're about to talk about today will receive that very positive treatment. One that for nearly a year and a half I've been seeing clips of on Twitter, watching these cool little segments of gameplay, following little tidbits of information dropped by the developer. Today, we're talking about the one, the only, Pigface. I fucking love this game. I could leave the review there. I could just let this be under a minute, depending on how long that sizzle reel was, and I could just say, this is it. Keep an eye on this game. But no, I am going to stand here and I will be explaining in detail why I love Pigface. That's right, out of all of the games that I've played for the Steam Next Fest, Pigface is hands down my absolute favorite. Sure, there were surprises, games that definitely made me excited to buy. There may have been a dud in there that I didn't really let on. Maybe an asset flip, who knows. But out of all of them, Pigface stands out most as the game that I want to continue playing. It's the reason I started this one video a day challenge for myself. Because I know I wanted to build up people watching these videos and get them to see the action that is Pigface. Okay, look, looks can be deceiving. I went digging around for a tweet that I remember the developer, Tito, sending out some time ago about how they had recently started game development. I can't find that specific tweet anymore, but I found one where Tito mentioned the first stages of Pigface development, and it looks kind of the same. I mean, there are some small differences, but it's still, I see it and I go, yeah, that's Pigface. Nearly 2.5 years ago, though, this game started its development by Tito, who goes by Tito Loves You on Twitter and their developer handle on Steam. And the publisher is the famed Dread XP. They're behind some of my favorite horror games that have come out recently. And most importantly, the publishers of the infamous Dread X collection. These are collections of horror games that have a loose story thread connecting each one. Some of these are actually my favorite horror concepts that I've seen in games for the past 2 decades. Man, I'm old. So, Dread XP is a horror publisher. Pigface is somewhat a light horror game, I would call it, but I would say it's more of an action game. It is most definitely an action game. The closest equivalent that you're going to hear is Hotline Miami, which when your favorite YouTuber makes a video about this, you will hear that a lot in the future. Tito has listed that as an inspiration for the game, as well as Manhunt and Cruelty Squad. Now, to be clear, after playing the demo, I feel like comparing the game to its inspirations is selling it short. I feel like, just from playing the demo alone, that Pigface is its own thing. Let's get started with the basics. The character you play as is named Exit, and according to the game description, she is a terrible person who has done terrible things, and now her past has finally caught up to her. Waking up in a warehouse covered in her own blood, you pick up the phone and get told that, yes, you do feel something in your head, and it's a bomb. Do what the voice says, and the bomb won't go off. Simple as. What are the jobs that they have for you? Wet work. Killing people, stealing drugs, cleaning up other people's messes, or making your own mess with brain matter. of your victims. There's a lot that I like about Pigface, and that really quickly became apparent as I was playing through the tutorial level alone. It is currently the hottest day of the year so far, and I am already sweating with like less than 10 minutes in. This is great. Exit is deadly. There's no other way to put it. She will absolutely rip through someone that's in front of her. Melee combat is quick, efficient, and brutal. Exit can also throw whatever item that she's wielding, dealing tons of damage depending on where it strikes. Of course, the head being the one that damages the most. Firearms are, for the most part, pretty deadly too. It just depends on what attachments that you have, but of course, to get those attachments you need to buy them. It looks like your arsenal will evolve as you play through the game. One cool thing that I actually really did like is that if you take something off a level with you, you have it available in your next run. Like for example, I went into the farmhouse, I didn't have any healing syringes, I took one with me, and then in the loadout van I had healing syringes available. Now, part of the reason I also think that is because I came out with a Mac 10, I think it was, or like an Uzi, who knows? And I ended up having that available as an option for the next run as well. I don't know if it's because I completed the farmhouse or if it's because I left with those items. I'm not going to lie. I'm just going to assume it's the cooler of the two options. Now, there's a lot when it comes to firearms, so it just seems like we're skipping them right now, but I promise we will come back to them later, and I'll kind of go over them in a little bit more detail. One thing I do like about the game is that there are no crosshairs at all. It really makes you think about what you're doing and if your next shot is going to make it or your next throw is going to make it. You have to consider if your next attack is worth it or not. It's always worth it. Trust me. Oh, also, I kind of skipped over the settings here because, like, there's none, basically. Which, with how this game is in active development, I think that's fine. But heading into this, just know you can't change the controls or really a whole lot about the game right now. I know, no crouching or sprinting on my mouse. I got over it, I promise. Going back to Exit's arsenal, she has a few other things in it that you can buy or pick up. The Hotline Miami connection is that she has different masks that she can wear or no mask at all. You start with the smiley mask, which allows you to fully regenerate your HP if you stop moving for a set amount of time. Otherwise, what happens is you can only heal to half your full health instead of all of it. Another cool thing about the demo is that when I was exploring, I actually ended up finding another mask, the Sloth Mask. The cool thing with the Sloth Mask is it allows you to have a 15% chance of slowing time when you kill someone, allowing you to line up another shot perfectly. There's armor and a utility slot as well. You have to buy the armor from the online shop, as Exit doesn't start with any. It affects your speed, but also helps your survivability. Your other utilities are the previously mentioned healing syringes, but also proximity mines and a grenade launcher. I will say that the NPCs are a little bit smarter than I gave them credit for, as I would put the proximity mine down and they would avoid it. I only got one to step on a mine, and it's because I hit it on a corner and he just kind of came around and stepped right on it. The grenade launcher itself ended up being really clutch, and I'm glad I saved up for it, even if it did eat my ammo, but that has been fixed in a patch. DreadXP told me so on Twitter, so thank you. And yes, I am going insane. It's just kind of fun to launch a nade and see who gets caught up in the explosion, especially if you do a Hail Mary shot. Exit is agile and quick, which is great. I love quick, agile characters, but there's also some cool quality of life features built into the game. Like when I ended up hopping into a window and crouched automagically, which is great. I'm noticing more and more indie games are actually starting to do that. Believe it or not, Salvage Protocol also has this feature. I'm finally getting to the guns, okay? I'm finally getting to all the things that Exit has in her arsenal. But before we do, I just want to play the intro of Bubba's Gun Shop. Perfect. I love it. No notes. I just want to put in here, by the way, I was actually getting some footage of how the guns like track their damage and stuff, or how you can see their damage stats. I saw one I don't remember buying, and I ended up playing through the farmhouse mission again. I really like this game. I cannot overstate that enough. All right, so guns, I do want to talk about those, but however, this is where one of my concerns actually does come in. You don't have an idea of what the gun you're about to buy can do. It doesn't show the stats on Bubba's Gun Shop. However, it does have some very funny descriptors for it, which I love. But if you're trying to figure out what gun is going to be better than the other, or which one you might like more, you don't really have a good idea of that. The only way to see these stats is when you're in the van trying to choose your loadout for the next mission, where it will show you the damage, inaccuracy, accuracy, stuff like that. Now, this is the same for any other type of item that you can buy from Bubba's. For example, the medium armor doesn't really tell you the stats on it, but then when you're in the van, you can see all the stats of it. It's not a big issue, but probably just something to keep in mind. Most of the firearms have some sort of attachment, either a suppressor or a laser sight, that sort of thing. Some weapons will come with a scope that you can purchase as well. There are no reflex sights though. The firearms, of which there are many, are very fun and quick to use. Like I said before, they're very deadly depending on where you hit someone. Exit is also really quick at reloading them, so it doesn't feel like you're out of combat for that long. Every gun seems to have its own sort of drawback. Like for example, when I was using the double barrel shotgun, I was stuck reloading each barrel as enemies were rushing at me. Again, that's where the grenade launcher came in clutch, because they all grouped up at a door, which was great. But there's also things like when you put a suppressor on a gun, it reduces the damage of that firearm as well as the accuracy of it too. However, it makes it so that the enemies are much less likely to hear you, especially when you're in close quarters. Otherwise, when you shoot off a shotgun, they all come running for you. Now, I mentioned there's a bunch of guns off the top of my head. There's the AK-47, an Uzi, there's a Glock 18, there is a R870. I'm getting them confused because there's a 780, I think, and an 870, a shotgun, and a hunting rifle. There's even a P90, which is like the best weapon that you can get. You can also buy melee weapons from Bubba's, but I really only stuck with the hammer and axe. Everything else I used didn't feel as good as those other two items. First thing, throwing a hammer into someone's face, virtually of course, is always fun and satisfying, and the axe just felt like it made fast work of enemies both in melee and being thrown at them. The only mission in the game has several goals with it. Collect 2 drug samples, collect 2 files, which I think are the recipes of the drugs, and finally, optionally, you can kill all the gang members, which, ooh, an extra $500. Don't mind if I do. Beating the mission the first time gives you access to a cutscene where your blackmailer talks to their employer on the phone, confirming the drugs that you found are a match for drugs that they manufacture. There is a funny bit where the blackmailer has a question and the employer assumes they're going to ask for a raise. I just kind of laughed at that, but that's pretty much where the demo ends. Now, it's not the actual end of the demo though. You can run that farmhouse mission back multiple times, trying to see what sort of loadouts and playstyles you can change. Or you can make money to get the P90 and the grenade launcher and really cause some chaos. I've said it a few times already, and I might say it 100 more times after this. I really like this game. I love this game. I love the concept. I love the gameplay. I am 100% in for Pigface. The only concerns I have already kind of gone over are like the gun stats and the control thing, but that's about it. Oh, I guess maybe the gamma settings. So I really hope my footage comes out decently, because I did adjust the gamma until I could just barely see the like test image. But, well, if I dropped it down like just one single bump, it would disappear completely. So who knows? Maybe my footage is usable, maybe not. You'll know if you only see me running around with a shotgun on the farm. Don't worry though, that gamma thing is more on me than anything else. I cannot recommend Pigface enough. It's out in early access in August, and that's not that far away. I think this is going to be a sleeper hit that's waiting in the wings. My recommendation is to hop on when it comes to early access and see what Tito cooks up. I kind of wanted to do like a retrospective of like what it was like doing 7 videos, 1 video a day, even though I ended up doing more than 7 games. But like looking back, the only thing I have to say is I'm glad I did it. It was more challenging than I thought it was, trying to get everything done in 24 hours. I was a little late sometimes on my uploads, but it was fun. I guess that's my biggest retrospective. I had a long rant here that I wanted to talk about pricing of games and that sort of thing. Really, the biggest thing that I would like to point out is that I focused on a lot of independent game developers who might be published by slightly bigger publishers. They're still pretty small. They're not game changers or shot callers when it comes to the publishing world. There's a lot of indie games out there that you can spend money on. There's a lot of indie games out there. Always keep that in mind. I only focused on 8, and I don't think I regret focusing on those games at all. Yes, I know I was harsh on Deficit, but I promise I would still probably pick up Deficit. I want to see where that game goes. So just keep that in mind. I should have another video out in a week, kind of going over this as a retrospective when I've collected my thoughts, but I'm also going to tie it into Jeff Keighley's not quite E3 presentation, whatever that thing is called. Is it Summer Games Fest? I honestly forgot. What I will say is Pigface, absolute recommendation. Basically any of the games I picked up this week, absolute recommendation. If you like the video and you're new and you want to see more, especially my retrospective and what I had to say about whatever Jeff Keighley put on, subscribe please, it helps out quite a bit. Like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you dislike it, leave a comment, let me know if you're looking forward to Pigface as much as I am. And if you are, don't worry, we both can get group therapy. I hear it's cheaper that way. That's gonna be it for me. It feels weird not saying I'll see you guys tomorrow, because I won't. But I should see you Friday. Catch you then.